It's going to be a long night anyway. You're just making it longer, I'm telling you. Well, hello and welcome to Friday Night with Jonathan Ross. And let's start with a poem, ladies and gentlemen. One I've written just for you. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. In the spare room of the night. My God, he's achieved the impossible, hasn't he, Tiger Woods? He's made golf interesting. Let's have a look, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start by having a look in my green room and see who is joining me on the show tonight. My first guest is, quite simply, the best cook in the world. He is the potentate of Poussin, the general of juice, the sultan of sea bream, the caliph of cauliflower. He is that potty-mouthed pan rattler, Mr. Gordon Ramsay. There he is. Hey, Gordon, looking good.
Good to see you.
Looking smooth.
Here we go.
Hey, do you know, here's an incredible statistic. Listen to this. Over 5.5 million people have bought Gordon's cookbooks. That's an incredible figure. And I believe just under 12 have actually attempted one of the recipes. That's Mr. Gordon Ramsay on the show this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Gordon's here. OK. I am very excited about my next guest. He's a comedian. He's a star of the BBC's Mock the Week programme. He is Mr. Russel Howard. There he is. Hey, Russell. Great to have you here. Very nice to have you. I've been enjoying your show.
Thank you.
Now, Russell is a very funny young man, and I think you'll agree he's very young and he's very good-looking. Gordon, can I check something? Was it Russell's picture that you took in when you went to see your surgeon recently? You said... Give me one of them. Just take 20 years off.
I'm killing.
OK. Thank you for joining us. Russel Howard, ladies and gentlemen. All righty. Here we go. Now, this does get exciting because my next guest is an Oscar-winning Hollywood actress. I am thrilled she's on the programme this evening. She is the lovely, the talented Reese Witherspoon. Hello, Reese. Look at that. A ray of sunshine. How lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I've loved watching you in movies, Reese. I loved Walk the Line was fantastic. Did you see the film Walk the Line, ladies and gentlemen? That was an incredible movie, a wonderful piece of work. Legally Blonde was great. We all love Legally Blonde. Not to be confused, of course, with Gordon's favourite hair dye, Unconvincingly Blonde.
God,
Oh, no, you poor thing.
Gordon, you know why you're here this evening. Come on, just soak it up, big boy. They are, from the Foo Fighters, David Grohl, from Led Zeppelin, John Paul Jones, and Queens of the Stone Ages, Josh Homme. It's them crooked vultures. Hey, and Alan at the end there. Sorry, Alan. And Alan snuck in at the end there. Look at that. It's going to be loud. It's going to be great. Now, them crooked vultures is, don't get me wrong, it's a great name. It's a great name for a band, fellas, but I think you overlooked an even catchier one.
Which was
Queens of the Stone Age Foo Zeppelins. And I will be chatting to the Foo Zeppelins later in the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. It's them thingamajig Zeppelins from the Vultures with their crooked hands. Now, before we get on with the show proper, let me just apologise because we were hoping to have the fabulous Sophia Loren here on the show this evening. Sadly, she cannot join us tonight. Her filming commitments have overrun. She can't fly to London this week. Hopefully, she will join us very soon. So if you've tuned in for Sophia Loren, tough luck. But she'll be here soon. Or as they say in Italy, mi dispiace, non parlo italiano. OK. Now, hot new product on the shelves for Christmas are these things. You might have seen these already. I've seen them before, but they're really giving them a big push. These are called bendaroos. You've seen these, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. OK, they're kind of wax modelling strips. They're waxy strips. They look like straws, and you can twist them and bend them together, OK? And make shapes, and they sort of stand up, and you can make a little man out of it if you want to. Well, don't laugh if it fell over. OK, look, you see that you can make something there, you can put arms on it, you know, and you just bend them, and it's something for the kids to play with on Christmas morning. You can just imagine their little faces lighting up with disappointment when they get that. Happy Christmas, there you go. Have fun. No, they're very good, they're fun. And the people who make them wanted us to mention on the show, so they made us some models with them to illustrate what you can do with them, and it's really quite impressive. For example, they've made little models. Look at that. That's pretty good. See that? Even more talented than the real things, right there. What are you sucking your chest out and for there? Okay, so this, and they did some pictures. You can make kind of more two-dimensional pictures, and they've done some of our tonight's guests. They've done Gordon Ramsay. Would you like to see it, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. They actually sent these in. This is, and it's quite impressive. Have a look at it. This is Gordon. Made out of the bend. I think they've certainly captured the Jedward hair that you're wearing at the moment. But what are those lines on your forehead? They haven't captured the new smooth alabaster. And that's an odd colour they've made your face, eh? Looks like you've just opened the news of the world. Look at it. Hold on. OK, have a look at this. I almost hesitate to show you this next one. Once again, we didn't make these. Reese, they heard you on the show, the lovely Reese Witherspoon. They've made you, I'm afraid. Are you ready for this? Here you go. Look at this. This is quite terrifying. Look at that.
Oh my God! That's so horrible.
Well, they've got the blonde hair, right?
Or something.
You look slightly deranged, blushing with embarrassment. Shall we get my first guest out, ladies and gentlemen? I think we've just had an emergency call from one of these restaurants. They've lost the tin opener and they're dangerously low on smash. Oh, he does a lovely smash, I tell you. Because he puts a bit of butter in it as well. That's what makes the difference. Will you please welcome Mr. Gordon Ramsay? Suck it in. You're looking good, Gordon.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you as well. How lovely to have you here. Now,
thank you.
Gordon, before we start, there's so much to talk about, but you know it's kind of all changed a little bit.
Right.
We don't really have the swearing on the BBC so much anymore. When I swear on the show, sometimes they tend to cut it out.
Right.
And they're a bit worried about you coming on because, of course, you do swear quite a lot more than just about anyone else, it seems.
Sometimes, even after 10:30.
OK, well, they're a bit worried, so they've given me this. Do you know about this? Have they asked you about this? This is the new BBC, I think it's called the Compliance-atron 3000. Okay? And you have to wear this, I'm afraid, during the course of the interview. You see those two prongs there, ladies and gentlemen?
Yep.
They will send an electric shock into... If there's any swearing, they will. I'm afraid they will.
Does it work?
I'm afraid it does, yes. So...
have you got one?
Do you want me to test... I don't need one.
Please.
Do you want me to test it for you?
Please. Thank you. Yeah.
Because if you're not feeling it, I can turn it up.
No,
It's only...
don't turn it up.
It's only on 3. It goes up to 8.
Well,
OK.
Yeah, I'll
That's for special words. OK. Gordon, it's great to see you.
Likewise, good to see you too.
As I said, you are looking a bit smoother, and this has been in the newspapers. No, because... Well, let's get this out of the way. It's a slightly less craggy Ramsay than we're used to. Anyway.
I had 2 lines.
Yeah, I know. You've been very honest about this. You had those lines there, didn't you?
Yeah. It was suggested by Simon Cowell one night having dinner. He said, look, do something about that. I've got a friend that can sort that out. So I didn't really think much of it, and then the next day I thought, do you know what? I'm going to take his advice and go and do it. And it was a little bit weird. I haven't done within like, sort of 3 minutes, but... yeah, just 2 little laughter lines.
Because, yeah, there was there. But why did you feel the need to... Because it's not vanity as such,
No. I'd never actually thought about it until actually somebody had pointed it out. But every time we go over to the States and we sort of cook and get close to customers, they look at you in a very strange way. And first question they ask was, my God, how old were you when we went through the windscreen?
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Which is a little bit sort of, you know, over the top. So I tried it.
How old were you when you went through the windscreen?
So, I mean, it was only done within sort of 3 minutes.
So what did he do? Was sandpaper involved, or what did he do? Is it a lathe? I don't know much about these things. I haven't had any surgery.
You've never had anything done?
Yet. I'm going to have some. I think I might have some done.
For your 50th birthday?
Yeah, I'm going to have some really big knockers right out here. Just going to see how it feels to get that kind of attention from men.
So I had a little procedure with a sort of a small needle, and it went underneath the line and just, like, scraped underneath and sort of just pushed it out.
And they pushed it... Did they use filler in there? Did they put any stuff in there? Like
it wasn't like a sort of filler. It was like a sort of gel.
Oh, gee.
But it... I mean, I didn't even feel the sort of... the prick, you know, in terms of...
Did you say, is it in yet?
So... no, I said, is it done yet?
Is it done yet? But I think you've got to be careful, because, look, here's how you look right now, OK? This is... If we look at the photo from before, OK? Yeah. Now you look at the lines removed, the next one, we sort of smoothed out, OK? And then, yes, like a baby, And then we got a little bit further, and next time you come in, you're looking like that. And then... Yes, it's a slippery slope, Ramsay. Don't take that off. And then, look at this next one. And then, who knows? Who knows where it could lead? Who knows? Who knows? What delights will lie in store for us in the future?
Come on.
Just all I'm saying is just think once, think twice.
Thank you.
Think safe. All right, before we talk about all the cooking, let's just get... let's face it, it's been a tough year for you, hasn't it? Any number of ways. There's been a lot of things coming your way.
It's been a very tough year, very
What
hard.
month was it you decided to cancel all the newspapers? when about did you decide, OK, I've had enough of that?
Thank you. Smart ass.
Well, no. Hey, I'm in the same boat to an extent. I cancelled mine last November. I stopped reading the papers when they started writing about me, so I know what kind of what you're going through.
Really weirdly, on my birthday last November, literally 14 months ago. So, yeah, it's been a tough one.
Yeah.
Learned a lot, get my head down and continue to do what I'm good at doing and fighting the fires. But
And the businesses, I know that there's... all businesses are going through a bit of a tricky time now.
Yep.
I've been reading about yours, but you're kind of consolidating, you're getting rid of some and others you're shoring up. What's happening with all the restaurants?
no one saw it coming in terms of a recession. We opened up 9 restaurants in a period of 15 months. Very, very hard. Big success in Paris, New York, LA. The euro became stronger than the pound for the first time in 10 years, which caused a lot of cash flow problems. We consolidated, I think, really. All the independent restaurants outside the UK got turned back into consultancies, so we didn't brunt the risk.
So they weren't yours as such, but
Absolutely.
your name is attached and you help out a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So what, you go in, you do the dishes, a little bit helping out of that. Empty the bins, make sure the oven's clean, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Make sure there's enough fish fingers. You know, like it's just keeping on top of things. Like you fill in the order online for the shopping, Okada.
I'm dying to swear at you.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Just try one. Let's just try one. You see, but it's good. It will teach you, not right?
Right, OK.
So turn it up one, because that was
No,
a bit
no,
slow.
that's
Okay.
absolutely fine, thank you. You've got a really big lump on the top of your...
So, I'm sorry, I thought you said something else.
But there's like a cyst growing on...
I beg your pardon? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that. Was that...
You need to see a doctor.
Leave it on! Okay. I like this. All right, you must be relieved then Christmas is coming, because it kind of draws a line on what's going to be behind you at the end of the year. You can look ahead, you know, you've got a fresh start coming. What do you have planned for Christmas? What's Christmas hold for you and the family?
Christmas is a bit of a busman's holiday for us. I mean, it starts at the beginning of December and, you know, restaurants are crazy, customers are excited and very happy.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to Christmas Day, the last thing you want to see is a turkey. Then we'll have a nice family Christmas. With
So
some
when do you
friends.
start? So you don't do a Christmas dinner in your restaurants, do you? Or do you do a kind of like a kind of like fancy version of it for people? You must do, I guess, is it?
No, the clarity is we have a classic, you know, Christmas Day celebration, and they have Father Christmas and all the sort of decorations and bits and bobs. But I know this Christmas we're going to be together with some friends and just have a nice chilled out Christmas day.
I think I know who your friends are. Yes, I've got a bone to pick with you, Ramsey. I've known Gordon for a long time. I've eaten in his restaurants. I've paid to eat in his restaurants. Always have a great meal. He's never once offered me a freebie, which you'd think he would, right? But he's never said, oh, yeah, you want something, you want a sandwich or something I'll pop round, or you want some mince pies at Christmas? No. But I found out that the Beckhams, oh, yeah, the Beckhams, every year you've been sending someone over to cook for the Beckhams, and this year I believe you're cooking for the Beckhams.
I am not cooking for
What you
David
doing
Victoria. We're having lunch together with the families.
Well, who's cooking? You don't want her cooking. You're not going to let her... She doesn't know where the bloody kitchen is. You leave it her. It'll be Domino's turning up at Christmas Day. £54.
She does eat, and she eats exceptionally well, just healthy, but David's quite a good cook.
David's a good cook, is he?
Yeah, no, he cooks. I mean, Victoria cooks as well.
OK, yeah. So you're going to have Christmas. That'll be nice, and that'll be a nice day.
Christmas Day, yeah, it'll be fun.
And what present are you going to take over there?
I'm not too sure. I'll think about it. I don't like shopping too early. I think when you start shopping for presents at the end of October, it's boring. You get to sort of middle of December.
What are you getting me this year?
Sorry, yeah.
Leave it on! Leave it on!
I'm going to get you a running machine.
A running machine?
OK. You need to lose a little bit of weight. Just a little bit here. You look like my
I do
dog.
need to lose a little bit. I might get some work done. Do you know anyone I could go to? OK. What are you cooking for us this evening? Because Gordon has put his name, and let's face it, it's a name which is internationally famous because he's made a huge success, not only of his businesses here, but in America. You're one of the biggest, best-known stars. Your reality show is the biggest reality show on American TV.
Yeah.
That's some achievement, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear
Yeah.
it for Gordon. Let's say, you know, let's not forget. And it's because of who you are and what you do. And Gordon has put his name behind Comic Relief, which is always a lovely thing to hear, and has some sauces out called Seriously Good Sauces. There's a picture of Gordon, I think, is that pre or post-op? I can't remember. With sauces there. The sauce is there. Looking lovely. And Gordon doesn't get any money from that at all. Money goes to comic relief from the profits of those, and that's a lovely thing there. And the sauces are pasta sauces, is that right?
Pasta sauces, and not just for pasta, but fish, chicken, meat, great lasagnas.
So like cooking sauces, basically?
Yeah, cooking sauces, but they are absolutely delicious.
Okay.
And
Pete,
10,000 times tastier than Jamie Oliver's.
Oh, really? They're better than Whoa. Well, listen, I cooked some stuff from Jamie's cookbook a while ago, and I couldn't do it properly, and I phoned Jamie and he was out, and I called you and you didn't answer.
I thought you stopped making those calls.
You wouldn't answer it anyway. You're off bloody hoi polloining with the Beckhams. Right, so...
right, tortellinis.
Right, so what are we going to do? What are you going to make here?
OK, going to do a little tortellini.
It's not coming out of there, is it? We're not making donuts tonight, are we, Dad?
Can you behave yourself?
Huh?
And show...
Well, don't stand up. Look, can I give you some advice about cooking?
Please.
Don't stand up before you're cooking something and start funneling around in there like that.
I'm tucking my tie in. Right, OK,
You don't need to tuck your tie in.
Right, tortellinis of lobster, OK?
Tortellinis with lobster. I love a bit of lobster.
Lobster and a little bit of sauce. Now, these are amazing pasta
Now, I've
dishes.
seen you do this on the show, and this looks, I'll be honest with you, easy. You wrap them in that, and you bend it around your finger, and you make a shape.
That's right, yeah. The secret, OK, is in, OK, the egg wash.
Of course it is.
So, now, a little bit of flour.
A little bit of flour. On the floor.
Yep. Now... You're so...
That's my carpet.
Come on, it's Christmas. What's the matter with you?
I don't want flour on my carpet.
You're getting very whingy in your old age. Come on. Right. A little bit of egg yolk.
Egg yolk.
Now,
a bit more.
Lobster. OK. Now, from there.
A little bit of lobster on the
pasta.
On the pasta.
This is pasta made with saffron. So lift it up, fold it over.
Who's saffron?
So fold it over to a half move.
Please yourselves.
OK. And then fingers like this.
You want me to do one?
Yep, left to right, right to left. Push. Look at me first.
Slow down.
And push over, and then nip it in like that.
Easy.
OK.
Easy.
Now,
so,
up,
I squidge it in the pile like that.
Yep.
Pinch, pinch, pinch.
Pinch. Push all the air out, so as it doesn't burst.
OK.
Together.
Okay.
Show me.
OK.
Yeah, good.
Is that good?
No, that's nice. Yeah, good. Yeah. And now, fingers like this.
Yeah, you live long and prosper like that.
A little bit like that. Left to right.
Through that one there?
Yeah. Left to right and right
Squidge
to
it,
left.
squidge it.
Gently now.
Hold it, I've put through the wrong fingers.
So, no, that's just at the end.
You put through those fingers?
That's it there. Don't
Why did you
down.
do that finger?
No, but you went like that.
You went like that.
Oh, right, like this.
Paper.
So...
Paper beats what?
Come on!
I bet you have fun in the kitchen, don't you? Paper what? Throw some more flour on the floor. Look at that. No!
You're terrible. You're so bad. You're so bad. No. Not the sauce, come on.
Not the sauce.
Jesus.
Not the sauce.
It's for charity, the
Happy
sauce.
Christmas. There you go. I can't believe Ramsey, he played the charity card. I had the sauce, went, not the sauce, it's for charity. Well, that's another fine mess you've got me into, Ramsey. OK, so, Gordon, anyway. I enjoyed that, but I thought you'd be able to run faster than that.
It's slipping,
I think you wanted to get caught. No. OK, all right, let's talk about Gordon's book. I've got it here, World Kitchen, new book for Gordon Ramsay. Some great, but this is a different sort of book for you because I guess, in a way, it must be hard coming up with a new angle, a new idea for a book.
Yep.
Because you've done the kind of, the more kind of haute cuisine, I guess it is, the kind of...
Sunday luncheon at
Yeah,
home.
the Poncia food. So this is food from around the world?
Around the world, yes.
But is this food that is this you learning as well? Were you learning, or did you already know how to do these recipes?
Yeah, already knew how to do it, and it was part of the Strand of the F Word, where we've gone around the country and searched for the best local restaurants. The best Indian, the best Chinese, the best Spanish, the best French, the best British, and there's sort of 15 recipes from each sort of culture put into one book, which is quite unique.
You like French cooking best, I guess, don't you? That's
yeah,
the kind of
I grew up
but of the other kind of foods, what's your favourite?
Japanese and Thai.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, so destiny. And... ladies and gentlemen, the very funny, the very talented Mr. Russel Howard. It's Russel Howard, ladies and gentlemen. That's who it is. Hey, Russell, great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. You're not going to tag me, are you?
No, that was like he was like an Asbo boy, wasn't he, out there? It's great to have you on because I've been aware of your comedy now for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you've been on the scene before that.
I've been on the scene for a while, yeah.
Okay.
We've met before.
Yes,
Should we tell everyone?
We met very briefly at it was a charity concert.
We met in a toilet. Yeah. And it was one of the lowest moments of my life because you came in and went, "You're thingamajig, aren't you?" And for some reason I panicked and went, "I can be whoever you want me to be." Of all the places to say that in a toilet, it's probably... And it was lovely. You won't remember because your response was just, "Oh," and just kind of walked off.
So this was for Amnesty International.
Yeah, well, that wasn't for Amnesty International, no.
That was just for our own pleasure.
That was just me making a tea out of myself. That's my skill.
And for the next half hour, he was Susan from Leicester. A shift worker.
I felt like it was... Oh.
OK, but it's kind of gone very big for you now, hasn't it? I mean, I know your DVD...
It's gone very big. We're still on that innuendo territory, isn't it?
Well, your DVD, it's called Dingle... Is it Dingle Doddies or Dingle Dodies?
Dingle Dodies.
Is that a West Country expression?
No, Dingle Dodies is from On the Road by Jack Kerouac.
Oh, really?
And it basically describes kind of life-affirming sort of lunatics, you know, the people in life that you kind of adore and you traipse about. Like my friend Tom, I fell in love with him age 5. He stood up in the middle of a nativity play and just went, "Well, enough's enough." So... And like people like that, I kind of do it like every day. Like in Bristol, I saw this the other day. You know, you see something, you're so glad you're alive. There was a man in this cafe who yawned, and the bloke in front of him, who did not know him, popped his finger in his mouth, right, and went, "Ooh." I'd never seen anything like it. I was laughing, and did the bloke headbutt him? No, he giggled and went, "It's a good job I didn't fart, wasn't it?" And he was sat there going, "Brilliant." And that's it. And it just...
Reese, have you visited the West Country since
I think I'll be staying here in London for a while.
Don't pimp me out to read... Oh, just telling the story. You can't not do it, though. I guarantee. You'll see an old lady on a bus. Ka-cha!
When did you start stand-up? When did it first occur to you could do it?
Well, I started it in '99. It was the first time I ever did it, and I sort of crept out of the family house.
So how old were you then? Because
I was
you're about 18 now or something, aren't you?
No, I'm 29.
Wow, he's a young-looking 29. Have you been to Gordon's bloke? Have you had a little bit... have you been tightened, or...
I haven't been I've been tightened.
Or something, or...
No.
Pumped up, or whatever. What did you have done? He had lubricant injected into his face or something, I don't know.
You could fit a deck of cards in his face still, though.
I think you look lovely. You look very handsome and lovely. OK, now, I've noticed that a lot of you... Well, we mentioned your appearance. Yes. You're a handsome young man, and I know you have quite a following. Oh, yeah, you do. You have the young ladies love you, and some of the young fellas as well, I'm sure.
Yes.
OK. But you... But it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to be considered attractive. Do people sort of, you know...
I've got a lazy eye and really lanky teeth. So it's kind of like, look, I just get bullied all the time as at school for my lazy eye, right?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, you know, and my dad, right, like, kids are really cruel. Look at him, he's obsessed with his nose. And we're like, who said that, right? And I did that thing. I went to my dad for advice. I've heard was done that. And, "Dad, I'm getting bullied." I used to cry a lot. I look like a Picasso in the rain. And I said, "Dad..."
Hold on, give us a sec, because we're all choking up with emotion.
But it got even worse. My dad would say this to the bullies, and they'll bully you no more.
What did your dad suggest you would say?
Well, I had to go up to them and go, "Bullies, how come my eye be lazy when it wanders around so freely?" "I'll think you're fine, bullies. It's an imaginative eye." And the beating just...
Who is your father, Sir Francis Drake? Why was he speaking in Jacobean verse?
He doesn't speak like that. I don't know why I came in... My dad would be sat home going, "I didn't say that."
So now, where do you look for material? Because a lot of this stuff I notice is kind of like stories. It seems to come from your life a lot. Are they true stories that you embellish, or do you just make them up from scratch? What do you do?
No, I kind of... a bit of both, really. Just stories and kind of seeing people and sort of travelling about. I'm quite good at being awkward. That's my major skill. So I'll make a fool out of myself and then retell it, and it's funny. Like, the other day, this doesn't pay me in a particularly good light, but I was hiding underneath my brother's bed, right? Because I'm staying with my brother, and I thought it'd be really funny, creep under his bed. I know I'm 29, it's pathetic, but I'm under his bed.
And how old is your brother?
My brother's 27, right? I'm kind of under his bed, and I'm giggling in anticipation, because he'll fall asleep, I'll scare him, hilarious, right? Now, he never brings girls back, right? Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, very different. Thud, thud, and you're underneath the bed going... Because how can you get out of that situation?
You can't pop out.
So my decision was to crawl away, right? So I started crawling out like this. And for some reason, I looked back at the girl. I've no idea why. And she caught my eyes, and I just looked at her and went, "Hello!" And what was wrong with that, right? what was really great about it, she looked at me and went, hello! After that, it just got a bit weird.
Okay, well...
But that's my skill, I'm very good.
Yeah, but it shows that you're obviously a very close family. He wasn't cross with you, he wasn't...
But that's it, it's kind of that thing of that's, I guess, where my comedy comes from. It's just situations where you go, that'll be a laugh, and then it kind of is in the retelling, but I don't look good, you know?
But you're quite young at heart, obviously. You're obviously a young-minded person, because as I said, you know, a lot of people, when they get about 29, they get a bit grumpy, but you're obviously still enjoying that.
Well, I just, you know, I've got no time for cynicism, really. I just think, you know, we've got one chance to live. We all want to be happy. We're all going to die. Might as well go for it.
Try that to the Buddhists.
Absolutely. Well, nice reference. But my take on it is you could be a slug. When you think about it, it doesn't matter how depressing you're like. Imagine actually being a slug. You look like a turd. You're covered in slime. All you do is drag your... But that's depressing. You can't even cry. If you do, the tears will melt your face.
OK, let me ask you about... There was... I believe you had a weird encounter on your show.
Yes.
And you'll be pleased to know it's a big hit in my house. It's on BBC Three. It's called Russel Howard's Good News. It's great fun, and it's doing really well for them. I mean, it's a big hit, isn't it, on BBC?
Well, most stuff on BBC Three is normally documentaries. About
Yeah,
kids.
well, you know,
the boy with a shed for a head. So... It's a pleasure, you know?
Since when did that mean a shed?
I went with it. It was a mime.
That's a shed, everyone knows. OK, well, it's a clown's hat. What was this with the tattooed lady? You had a weird... You were talking about a tattooed lady. You had a weird encounter with the most heavily tattooed lady?
I do a thing every week called Mystery Guest, where I sort of have to pick somebody out from the news. And I have no idea. And she arrived. She's the most tattooed pensioner ever. And she was head to toe in tattoos.
So she's a tattoo, so she's a woman over 60. How old was she?
I think she was 67.
67 years old.
Yeah,
I think we have a picture. They got a picture of the heavily tattooed pensioner.
There she is, yeah.
Well, she... you know...
That was pretty much my response. It was a fairly weird moment.
Once you get past the tattoos, though, she looks very good for 67, I think.
It's tricky to look past the tattoos, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard to, because there's a lot of tattooing going on there. And did she have them done since she turned 60, or was she having them done all her life?
I didn't ask.
So what did you talk about, if not the tattoos?
Well, she was wearing a big jacket, so I had no idea that she was tattooed.
So you had
underneath.
to guess who she was?
Well, yeah, and I was trying to figure out, and then right at the end, she just went, "Wah-da!" She looked like a really edgy dinner lady. Do you know what I mean? I'll make you dinner, swat.
OK, you're about to kick off on a new tour?
I am, yeah.
OK, now what, do you have a funny and amusing name for the tour? What do you have the title for the tour? What's it called?
It's called Big Rooms and Belly Laughs.
OK, so presumably you'll be playing in quite big stadiums and places.
Yeah, no, it's in arenas, which is
wow,
ridiculous.
that's huge.
Yeah.
And have you played one of those big spaces before?
I did Wembley last year, yeah, which was ridiculous.
It must be different doing it in a big room, I'm sure, because you have to, you know, sound travels quite slowly, in actual fact, isn't it? So you get that thing where you finish the joke and you're on the next one. I guess the laughs come out from the first one.
But it's kind of nice because it kind of, you sort of tell a joke and it kind of laugh and then rolls back and then kind of, it sort of becomes sort of quite orchestral. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of just moving. Yeah. It's lovely, man. It's really good. And it's just such a sort of privilege to wander on and go, hello, Wembley.
And they go mad for you,
yeah. Sort of, you just sort of pinch yourself. And what made it really lovely, my mum and dad came to watch, and my sister said that my mum, people were coming into the gig, my mum was outside pointing at people as they're coming in, pointing at herself, going, that's where the magic comes from. Which is just, I've never been prouder in my life, because nobody, don't pull that face, it's wonderful, nobody knew she was my mum, or they'd see me as an old lady. Beautiful. That was the highlight of Wembley.
Yeah, well, that's
my mum being funny.
How old is your mother then?
My mum is 50, I think.
Wow.
Are you 50?
Wow. She must be proud of you. They must be very pleased.
We get on really well.
What does your brother do, your younger brother do for a living?
He's a systems analyst.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't, Paul, look at you. Wow.
Well,
That's good, man.
What happened there?
He's very happy.
Yeah. What does your mum talk about him? I bet she's never outside a system analyst meeting going, that's where the magic came from.
That would be he's good. And my sister was in Reginald Perrin.
Wow.
She's the secretary in the Martin Clunes remake.
She was very good in it. She was very funny in that.
That's my sister.
I like that. Wow. So she's an actress. Any other family members?
Nope, just us.
You don't still live in the West Country? I guess you live here in London.
No, I live in Leamington. Spa.
Leamington. You live in Leamington Spa.
Yeah.
What happened there?
That's great, man.
I'm not saying it's not great, but it's unusual.
Well, my girlfriend's at university doing medicine, so
that's nice.
we live together there. It's lovely. Yeah. She's at home at the minute with the cat and the dog, and that's where I want to be. Not that this isn't fun, but you know. Oh, thanks very much. There's people arguing. There'll be blokes all over the country just going, "Oh, you."
Yeah. They know why you're saying it.
Yeah.
Your tour starts December the 11th?
Yes.
Where does it start?
It starts in Manchester.
And so is it Manchester Arena? Is it in the big...
Yeah, it's the MEN Arena.
The MEN?
Yeah.
What does MEN stand for?
Manchester Evening News Arena, I think. Is that right? Yes. Well, that's very deep. Yes.
Yes, I'll just check.
How deep was your voice?
It's pronounced Buttress Garley. There you go. OK, great to have you here.
Thank you.
I've been enjoying your show. I'm looking forward to seeing more, and I'm going to try and come and see you live on tour.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
I'd like to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree, a very funny, very talented young man, Mr. Russel Howard. That was great. And also, following that wasn't easy. Well done. Mr. Russel Howard. Christmas is coming, as I'm sure you know, so we're always on the lookout for original and weird gifts, and we've been sent one, which I like the look of. I'm going to show you this. It's called Pop the Weasel, OK? It's a door wedge. I'll show it to you here. Have a look at this. All right, that's it. It's a door wedge. So you put that bit under the door, and it holds the door open. And here's what's good about it and strange about it is, when you squeeze the door into it, you look at his little face. Look at that. Hey, Russell, this is what you were like at school, isn't it? Look at that. There you go. How can I have a lazy eye if it's wandering all round the room? Ladies and gentlemen, shall we get my next guest out? Will you please welcome Reese Witherspoon? Wow, looking every inch the gorgeous movie star. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, it's been messy out here. I apologise.
No
It's been a bit
kidding.
crazy. It's not normally as crazy. It's
I'm
at Gordon
sitting in
Ramsay.
crisps or something.
No, they're poppadoms. They're not called crisps.
I don't know what a papadum is.
What?
I barely know what a crisp is.
You never had a poppadom?
No.
OK, well, we'll deal with educate you on Indian food later on if you
Okay,
care
good.
to. It's lovely to have you here. You look fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
I
having
believe,
me.
But I thought you'd hurt your foot. I'm
I
delighted
did.
to see you looking so splendid, but I thought I heard you'd broken your foot.
I did. I think I broke my foot. I'm not sure. I haven't had a scan yet or anything like that.
How did that happen?
Well, I was taking a nap yesterday because I was real tired from, I had jet lag. And you know when your foot kind of falls asleep while you're, and then I stood up and someone called me on the phone and I went and answered the phone and I said, oh, I tripped over my shoe or something. I looked down and it was my foot I had tripped over.
Oh, my goodness.
And I hadn't had a thing to drink.
So your
I'm telling you, I was stone sober.
So your foot had fallen so far asleep
Yes.
that you couldn't feel it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
It was
yes.
insensate and you tripped over it.
Yeah, and then it swelled up and then
Well, it's still a little bit swollen, I can see.
Yeah, it's all black and blue right there.
Wow, but you haven't been to a doctor?
Not yet.
Wow, that's grit. That's showing good southern grit right there.
I'll go.
OK, let me ask you, do you get recognised as much over here as you do in the States? Do you get people, do they shout out your name when they see you, or do they just double take and think, I think I know her?
Yeah, I mean, I get recognized. A lot of people confuse me with other people.
Yeah, now, I believe you had a meeting with our Prime Minister, Gordon Brown.
I did.
And he wasn't quite sure who you were, or he mixed you up with someone else. Is this correct?
He did. He mixed me up with Renee Zellweger. But that's okay. You know what? I understand because she and I get mixed up a lot.
So what did he say? Did he say, I loved you in Bridget Jones?
No. He said something in Parliament about how he had heard me speak at Anthony Minghell's funeral, but that wasn't me. It was Renee, and she's lovely, and she's short and blonde and southern, so I understand.
But you don't mind that? You don't mind getting mistaken? Do you think she gets mistaken for you ever?
Yeah, she does. I mean, she actually called a friend of ours, and she was like, I heard about it, and it happens to me all the time, yeah. I have a dog, and I took my dog to the vet, and I said, like, you know, and they said, no, we're waiting for Renee Zellweger's dog. And I said, well, actually, this is my dog. Everybody gets us kind of confused a lot, but there's worse people to be confused with.
Well, have you ever
other than a lovely actress.
Yes,
so.
that's true. Now, I loved you in Walk the Line. Well, I've loved a number of your movies, but Walk the Line, wow, what a great performance and what a great part to get. But initially, you were reluctant, am I right? That you weren't sure whether you should take it on?
Oh, well, no, I wanted to do the movie because I had actually known Johnny Cash's granddaughter growing up, and I thought that it was they're a great couple, it's a great story, but then they asked me to do the singing in the movie, and I can't sing. So I went through all the rehearsals, and they were like, no, we really want you to sing. I was like, can't you get somebody else to sing? Because there's all these people who are really talented and paid to do it. But they ended up saying, no, we actually don't want to pay any of those people. We want to have you do it. So.
But this wasn't them being cheap. This was they wanted it to be on stage. They wanted it to feel real.
Yeah, they wanted it to feel real. So
which
I went.
you did.
Yeah, so Joaquin and I went through 7 months of training. And, yeah, we learned how to play instruments and vocal training and yeah, then we ended up recording an album.
But what a great experience.
Do you know what's so funny is like because if somebody said, oh, go record an album, and you think you sound so good, you know, when you're singing in the shower or you're like driving your car, you're like, I sound just like Beyonce when I sing that. You know, you do that? And then you actually record an album, and they play it back for you, and you sound like a cat that's dying. You're like, oh oh my God, don't make me do this.
But it sounded
But they
great.
somehow made it sound good.
Well,
so.
no, I'm sure it did. You know, maybe it's your own voice you don't want to hear. You want to hear.
Yeah, you don't want to hear your own voice, and then you realize that they can make anybody sound good.
You want to
so.
sing a little bit of Beyonce with me right now?
No, really.
Just put a ring on it. You want to join in with that?
No, I don't.
You have an Oscar.
Yes.
Congratulations, deservedly yourself. Fabulous performance. What a great thing, and what a. I mean, I guess in a way, the job in itself, you're doing what you want to do, and you know you've given a good performance. But I guess is there a kind of feeling of, does it vindicate you somehow? Does it feel like you've achieved something that you?
Certainly, but I mean, you never like do a movie and think you're going to get an award
No.
for it. In fact, when they all started telling me like, oh, you're going to get nominated for an award, I was like, please don't, I don't know how to handle that.
Were your children excited that you won the Oscar? Were they
No,
excited?
yeah, well, actually, the day after I won the Oscar, my kids had known I was getting dressed up and I was going out, and the next day my daughter was 6, I think. And she was in kindergarten. And I went up to her room and I said, honey, we were getting ready for school. And I said, that award that Mommy told you I was going to last night, Mommy won. And she goes, well, I lost my tooth yesterday, so that means we're both winners because I'm the first kid in kindergarten to lose a tooth. It just puts everything in perspective and you just go, exactly, that's how
That's a lovely thing.
unimportant it is.
But having said that, you've still got the Oscar. Where's that tooth now, hey?
That's a damn good question.
Let's remind her of that when she gets uppity.
Yeah.
Where do you keep the Oscar? Do you have it
And
somewhere?
it's certainly not covered in gold and sparkling in my living room.
So you have it in your living room, yeah?
We dress it up in little costumes, too. For Christmas, it has, it has like an Easter outfit. And it has a little tuxedo. And then it also wears dresses sometimes. And then it also wears like a little Santa hat at the Christmas time.
I think you spend a bit too much time with that Oscar. All right, let's talk about why you're over here, because you said you had a conversation with Gordon Brown, and there's a very specific reason. More often than not, when we have people on this show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy with that state of affairs. They're on because they have a movie out that we want to talk about, or a book or something. Reese has no such thing. It's a different issue altogether. Tell us why you visited the UK.
Well, I'm actually here with a company, Avon, that we're promoting a campaign against domestic violence here in the UK. So we're promoting a program that we've set up a website called 4waystospeakout.com, and you can go on the website to just find information about domestic violence and how you can help. And 1 in 4 women in this country are dealing with domestic violence.
That's a terrifying statistic.
Yeah, 2 women die every week in this country at the hands of a partner or a former partner. So it's a very serious issue. It's something the Prime Minister is very involved in, and certainly his wife is very involved in women's aid. And Gordon Ramsay as well.
And this is to encourage people to overcome the stigma of speaking out, or to feel like there will be help if they do?
Certainly. I mean, I think it's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't talk about. There's a lot of shame involved. And
because they feel like, in a way, that they're encouraging it, or they're creating the situation themselves? Is that it?
I mean, it's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing to a lot of people who I've spoken to. And I think, we're just trying to break down the stigma of talking about it, and also really trying to find recourse for people through the website. They can reach out. They can learn how to talk to a friend if they suspect this might be happening in their lives. And also just, find some legal recourse as well.
So a lot of these things often, raising awareness is often the first very positive step, isn't it? So people know it's going on and know that, you're not the only one.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very brave of a company, a big corporation, to sort of get behind a campaign like this that is, sort of dealing with things that are hard for people to talk about.
It's hard to talk about. It's not a pretty story.
No,
it's not a nice thing in people's lives.
Absolutely.
And for a company like Avon to do that is, that's very impressive. Are they behind it in the States as well?
Absolutely. We're doing it in the States. I've been to Japan. I've been to Brazil. I'm going to Russia soon. So it's been really fulfilling, and it's been very educational for me.
Why in particular this cause for you? Because I'm sure, like most famous people, I bet you get a lot of people asking you to put your name to things.
Certainly. That's a good question. I did a lot of work with children's charities for a long time, and I kind of discovered through that work that the best way you can help a kid is by empowering their mother, and either economically or just through the power of, helping them out of a bad situation. So that's what sort of inspired this work.
So in a way, you're still kind of helping kids, but going to the kind of...
Certainly. I mean, there's a lot of kids in these families that are dealing with a lot of violence, and it's unacceptable, and it needs to stop.
Well, it's a lovely thing you're doing. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we should certainly thank you for coming over and also for being involved in that. Yeah. Really. Well, I know you're doing it because you care, but still, it's nice to know people thank you for that. And so this is the first time you've been to the UK to talk about it, I guess, is that right?
It is. It's not, I've been here many times. I've made 2 movies here, so I have...
Which ones did you make here?
I made a movie called Vanity Fair.
Oh, that was great. I love Vanity Fair. It was
Thank you.
terrific.
Thank you. And then I did a movie called The Importance of Being Earnest.
Oh, yes, I remember that. It wasn't bad.
I like that that movie.
It was good, but it was no Vanity Fair, was it?
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And now, okay, let's talk about Legally Blonde a little bit, because I love both those movies.
You do?
Man, I love Legally Blonde. What's wrong with that? I love the Legally Blonde.
I love
can even do
that.
the bend and snap. I love Legally
I
Blonde.
love that you admit that. That's
Yeah.
you know the bend and snap?
What's another bend and snap?
Are you serious? Come
Another
on.
bend and snap.
Oh my God.
Yes. And now we're going to bring out...
Your mother and father.
Renee Zellweger's coming to meet you. I almost called you Renee then. I was going to say, Renee, great to have you here. Reese, I love to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Reese Witherspoon.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Reese Witherspoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, shall I bring out my final guest, ladies and gentlemen? Them crooked vultures. Here they are. What's it out? I didn't know if it was Homme or Homme. Is it Homme? Hey, great to have you here, guys. Thank you for joining us. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Nice to have you here. Well, now, this is exciting. I've been listening to the album. It's fantastic. You've been here before performing for us,
I
of
have
course.
been. You know, do you remember when we first met?
1991.
1991.
1991, I did a show, and Nirvana were on the show. And I remember chatting to you and Kurt. You were, do you remember this? You don't remember what I said, of
Vaguely,
course.
no,
I
what'd
think it
you
was
say?
probably a bigger moment
You
for me
guys were
than
in
it
the
was
toilet
you.
together, right?
No, we weren't in the toilet, Josh. But then you did a different song to the one you meant to be doing, didn't you?
We did, yeah.
Which one did
but
you...
I remember, well, we were supposed to play Smells Like Teen Spirit, and instead, about
You
2
bleeped
minutes
the
before
song?
going on, we thought, you know what, let's play Territorial, this other song, which is about 2 minutes shorter. And I remember, and then we smashed the gear and we ran out the back door, and the gear was left just feedback like, woo. And the first thing he says is, Nirvana will be available for bar mitzvahs and weddings. It was great.
Hey, now how does something happen where a group of guys that you get together, presumably you obviously knew about each other's bands, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what? You decided to do a different project because you wanted to work together, or you were
It's
looking
his
for...
fault, basically.
Okay, so Dave's
I
the
take the
brains
blame
behind it.
for that.
What happened?
Well, you know, Josh and I have known each other for a long time. We've known each other for maybe 17, 18 years.
Yeah,
And
that was
Josh-
before the
Queens of
Queen,
Stone.
wasn't it?
Yeah, way back.
And we had a great time playing together, but I'm in the Foo Fighters, and so we always talked about doing another project together. And of course, John is, we're big fans of John's work.
He was once in a little band by the name of Pink Floyd. So now you're the Led Zeppelin, of course.
Research.
Wow. And so where's the name from? Them Crooked Vultures. Can I tell you what I thought of when I heard Them Crooked Vultures?
Sure.
It made me think of those three guys who were pretending to be the Beatles in the Jungle Book.
I don't remember that.
You've never seen the Jungle Book?
Yeah, I
What
have.
kind of a wasted youth did you have, Grohl? You were smoking the Mary Jane when you were little. Everyone
was
else
7 years old.
That's not what that was.
Looks like someone's drawn a beard on a baseball. Okay. It's been Gordon Ramsay, who was fabulous as always, and the very funny Mr. Russel Howard.